Hey everybody, welcome to this latest edition of Storm Talk. We did have a few thunderstorms this morning to contend with. Nothing severe, although there's some hail that did come down in some portions of our area early on. So thank you for the pictures of that. It looks like today, though, overall, any risk is going to be well to our south, well to our east, as cooler air does move into much of the eastern part of the country. Here it is, the latest on the radar trends. I mean, spotty showers overall is what we're expecting here this afternoon. Even when it's not a steady rain, it'll likely be drizzle, so more of a nuisance than anything for the rest of the day. Those north winds continue about 15 miles per hour, and that chill to the air, so temperatures are going to struggle today through the 40s. Any chance for sunshine? Way to our west. There is a little bit of clearing taking place across portions of Illinois. But overall, lots of clouds and off and on showers. Wouldn't rule out that some of this may try to mix in with some sleet at the very tail end later on tonight. Not a big deal, though, because we will be above freezing throughout this evening. Now, even if we do see some clearing skies later tonight, or at least a thinning of the clouds, it will be very brief because another wave of energy is diving down from the north. This is going to increase our cloud cover again towards sunrise tomorrow and will likely give us a chance for some light rain or snow throughout the day on Friday. But overall, though, we could see some sunshine late in the day Friday before all is said and done the way it's beginning to look. Here it is on Futurecast later on for tonight. These showers move out. Again, if we see any clearing, it'll be brief because the clouds move back in as we into Friday. Notice it's picking out the idea of a couple spots here, some of that green and pink, maybe some light rain or snow, and then the skies will clear out later on Friday into Saturday, mostly sunny in fact, throughout most of the weekend. We're going to start off chilly on Saturday and especially Sunday morning, and then we'll warm things up Sunday afternoon. Looking at the sounding profiles, it's marginal. I mean, we're saturated when the two lines come together here from the moisture line and the temperature line. It's marginal to get snowflakes to generate, so this could be more sleet mixed in with the rain, if anything. But some areas could see snowflakes, but it's, again, very dry right above the saturation layer. So it basically tells us that anything that falls is going to be very, very light. All the moisture is real close to the surface, and even then it's very spotty at best. And even, that was the NAM, this is the GFS, very similar look to it. So both models do indicate the potential anywhere for something frozen that could get mixed in with the rain, but I stress, not a big deal. Now, as we head into next week, we're going to see some changes here in our cool pattern that we've had. You know, most of the winter time, actually the fall through the winter and now into the spring, we've had most of the cold air being centered over the eastern parts of Canada and the northeast corner of the country. We have been watching the trends here as we into next week and perhaps into the first couple of weeks of April. We're starting to see signs that the cold air is going to try to pull backwards and head more east-west in fashion across Canada into the northern United States in general. This will allow for what we call more of a zonal flow. We'll have faster moving systems that will take place starting next week into April. That means timing is going to be adjusted. So anytime we have a rain chance right now that you see for next week, keep in mind that could certainly change because when you get into a more flatter solution, the timing can be skewed somewhat. But keep in mind, we're going to see several little waves. They're going to pass through here, it looks like, next week into early portions of April as well. And the cold air will be centered across Canada. Now, that's good and bad. That's good in the idea that we won't see brutally cold air. It's going to stay locked in here. In fact, temperatures fairly seasonable. With a couple of chances for maybe an up or down day or two when we get below normal or above. But overall, fairly average. But the problem is when you start to get the cold air centered more into this portion of Canada and the northwest part of the United States, you're going to likely have a stronger low pressure that's going to develop in the plains that will likely track more north and east. And that would then put us more in favorable zone for thunderstorms and maybe some strong ones as we head into the month of April. It's kind of a big if right now. We'll see if this plays out that way. But that's been the missing ingredient for big storms this season, has been the idea that the cold air is not centered in the right spot for the low pressures to generate. So a lot of the low pressure has been moving more in this fashion, which isn't a really good storm track for severe weather. That's good, but you can still get severe like we saw last night in that kind of a setup. But we'll watch and see how things play out. But at least some changes are starting to show up as we enter the month of April. Now, looking beyond that, I have been looking at the Japanese long-range model outlooks they put out, and some interesting notes here on that. First off, there's the water temperatures here for their forecast. This will take us to the summer. They're still forecasting the water temperatures to stay above normal for the Gulf of Alaska all the way down the west coast of the United States. It has been that way for almost 2 years now, and signs are still there that it will hold true in the west coast. Some cooler waters off the east coast, that will likely impact the hurricane season if this were to come to light. The end result for that, though, would actually mean another cool summer over a good chunk of the lower 48, including us. So either average or below average, potentially. While the rest of the world is fairly warm, here across the United States and maybe across portions of Northeast Asia could see temperatures below normal. So interesting to see if that happens or not. And they also have an idea of how El Nino may look over the next 2 years. And overall, the model trends, I mean, we're in a weak El Nino now. Overall trends are to keep it likely in that zone, but there's no La Nina showing up. All the data is indicating a weak El Nino will likely take place all the way through next winter, if not beyond. What does all this mean? More of the same. In other words, we could have another cool summer and we could have another cold and active winter next year. But we'll wait and see how that looks a little bit later before I yell bots on that one. All right, guys. Enjoy the cool weather the best you can today and tomorrow. And keep in mind, it is going to be below freezing, likely Saturday and Sunday morning. So keep that in mind if you're going to get up early. You may have to do a little bit of scraping on the windshield. We'll see you today beginning at 5.